Hi everyone. Sorry I'm late. I'm a little late. Oh, you know what? This thing, it tells you like live and it gives a countdown, but it doesn't tell you the time. And this is how I always end up having some crazy long ass thing. Anywho, how's everybody doing today? It's another hot one here in Puerto Escondido. Surprise, surprise. What do I want to talk about today? I feel like I'm always wearing the same thing. Not that that matters. Okay. So, like the title suggests on the thumbnail, today we're going to talk about two things. I'm going to try really hard to keep this short. The first one is making money online, and the second one is naming the podcast. So, if you're new around here, I started a Patreon page. The link is below. On that Patreon page, there's weekly videos, there's interviews with people, there's talks about all kinds of things. This week, I'm uploading a video that's about the difference between an expat and an immigrant, because there's been a lot of talk in the comments about, using the term expat and using the term immigrant. Like, what is the difference between an expat and an immigrant? We often use the term immigrant when we're talking about people coming to Canada and the United States, and then we use the term expat for people from Canada and the States and Europe and etc. living in other countries further down in the Americas. So what is the difference? Why is one an immigrant and the other one an expat? And for a long time, I also thought that this was just like a racist thing, like we're just racist. And we just call white people expats and we call brown people immigrants. And that's just the way it is. And that one is thought of as lesser and one is thought of as more. And it's just a way to keep this like story going in the world that like the rich white countries are on top and everybody else is on the bottom. And if you're developing, it means you're developing into being like the winners, and the winners are the rich places, and they're the white people, and they're the enslavers, and they're historically the really bad people, and that's definitely my people. And, immigrant is used as this, like, to keep that story going. But I've changed my mind a lot over the years, mainly because I'm an immigrant now, and I tend to hang out with other immigrants, and obviously the immigrants here in Mexico are other Latin American people and also Canadians and Americans, and there are also lots and lots of expats here, and I would say the majority of them are Canadian and American, although I'm sure there's Argentinian expats here. There's a lot of Argentinian people, period. So yeah. So in the video that I'm posting on Patreon this week, I talk about, the process of sort of going from being like just a straight up tourist, someone that just vacations, goes to all inclusives, really is just like looking for somewhere to be, somewhere that's cheap, that they can beach, that has better weather from wherever they are, and their dollar goes further. That's a vacation. And then through like, how one becomes a backpacker, and then from backpacking to voluntourism, and then from voluntourism to being an expat, which includes like snowbirds, people that are just down for the winter, retirees, etc., people there for a period of time, or people that are there long term, and then finally immigrants, and what distinguishes an expat from an immigrant. It's a really interesting conversation, and if you haven't joined the Patreon yet, it's $3 for the month. It's really affordable for everyone, and it's like that on purpose, so that we can all join in, and it's not impossible for people, but at the same time, I get paid for my time, I guess. I mean, $3. It covers mostly just the cost of things for me. So anyway, over there, if you want to head on over there and talk more about things, it's a lot more interactive there than it is here. And yeah, anyway, it's another way to talk. It's like if you like these lives, then you'll like the Patreon. The Patreon is a continuation of this, whereas the YouTube channel is more about me and Luna. It's more about traveling, about being a mom, about being a mom in a foreign country, about immigrating, about having a multicultural family, and all those fun things, and being cute. Like, I mean, I'm about to upload a video about a new puppy that we're maybe adopting. So, I mean, it's really cute. Luna's really cute. But the Patreon is more like adult, it's more opinions on things that are going on in the world, it's more current affair type stuff, and maybe stuff that's not so YouTube-y. I actually have found, since I started doing these lives, that my views have gone down on my videos, and I haven't lost subscribers, so I don't think it's that. I think that YouTube has decided not to prefer me as much anymore. Maybe because YouTube is like, wow, she's not like a cookie cutter towing the line like we thought she was, so we're just not going to suggest her as much anymore. It doesn't really matter because it's not like I was making a killing off of YouTube anyway. I mean, I've never even gotten a check for $500, so not even that much, not even close. So it's not like a big deal, but it was funny. I was like, oh, right, as soon as I started to talk about my real opinions and have real conversations with people, then it went away. This is really strange. We're 6 minutes in and I haven't seen one comment, and I think it might be my I don't know. Okay, well, hopefully I see some chats. I think it might be my internet. So this month coming up in March, I did a poll on the Patreon asking what people wanted to know more about, what people wanted to hear more about, what they wanted to talk more about, what they wanted my opinion on, or for me to interview people about. And definitely the majority of people wrote back, out of all the categories, that immigration, working online, moving to another country, like this kind of category, like far outweighed the others in votes. So I'm listening to your feedback, and in March we're going to do a whole month dedicated to working online. People ask me a lot about how they can work online. They also ask me a lot about how I got started working online. So I run a company called Pink Mafia. It's Canada's #1 national street team, and there's nothing like special about what I do. I don't have any special skills. I don't have a special degree in anything. In fact, my degree is in English and creative writing. I never used my degree, not once. I've never even discussed it in a job interview ever. Okay, we're back. To be honest, promo and marketing are not really the type of thing that you can learn in school. I mean, I'm sure you could fine tune your skills, or you could learn about writing marketing decks and stuff, which I wish I had done. But for like sponsorship and stuff, or more corporate. But when it comes to promo, like, you need to just know. Like the nightclub industry, the DJ industry, which I worked in for a long time, it's like based on what you like and what you know. I never had an affinity for electronic music, though I did work in it for over a decade. I don't know if that was good or bad. Sometimes I think it was really good because I was separated emotionally from my job, but sometimes I think it was bad because I didn't really give a shit. So, I wasn't motivated by the music, and most people are. I was motivated by the marketing. I love marketing. I love it. I love predicting how groups of people are going to work. I'm really, really good at launching nightclubs and bars. Like, I think a lot about the user experience. Like, I put myself in their shoes, and I think, okay, they walk in this bar. How are you going to create an experience for them? How are they going to enjoy themselves? I think the majority of places that I go are not creating good experience for people. People are not. So I was a promoter in Toronto, Canada, and I threw parties for a living, and I did tours, and I launched nightclubs, and I worked with labels, and I did viral marketing. And then, when I was about 27, 28, I thought, is this it? Like, am I going to live in a nightclub and be like popular for the rest of my life? Like, is this what I'm going to do in my 40s? And I just I didn't see a future in it for me. I wanted to get married and have kids. That was like a big thing that I wanted, and I didn't see any space for the type of marriage or family that I wanted. I always wanted to be not a stay-at-home mom in the traditional sense. I actually have no idea how women do that, and kudos to the ones that love it. But if I was at home with kids as a homemaker full time, I'd go insane. Like, it's too hard a job for me. Um, I have to go to work. I have to be intellectually stimulated in a masculine sense of the word. And women that, create homes full time is like something totally different than what I'm like able to do. But anyway, I did though I wanted to be a hands-on mom. I didn't want to be one of these moms that works 80 hours a week either, and I didn't see any future in that because I was working all the time. So I had this street team that I started mainly out of need. I wanted to promote my parties. I didn't want to hire some skeezy, barely sober dude without a phone to do my postering, which was kind of the standard in the industry at the time. I was like, why can't we just have like first year university girls in booty shorts do this, I always wanted everything like in booty shorts and knee socks. And then, this was before rape culture and the pornification of women. So it was like a bit taboo still and a bit cute and a bit like very, very sort of American apparel, like sexy without being slutty. We all know how that story turned out. So anyway, I started this street team, and at first it was just for myself, like for my own company. And eventually it started making a little bit of money, but it never really made money. But we were doing tours across the country, and nobody else was doing that. People usually do like an area of Canada because it's so big. But I'd already been across Canada, so I already knew people all over, and I just pieced it together. And then I had a street team in Vancouver, and then next thing I knew, I was the only person doing the whole country who could poster and flyer, and other people started hiring me. So as I started thinking, like, I gotta get out, I painted myself in a corner. How am I gonna get out of this? How am I gonna stop? How is my work gonna stop being dependent on me trading time for hours? There was no such thing as a digital nomad. In fact, I was doing travel and I was lying about it. I had a big label as a client, and I would just get up in the middle of the night. I went and became a yoga teacher in India, and they were my client. They didn't know anything. Just get up in the middle of the night and I would do my calls, and I used internet sticks everywhere, and I was always stressing about having good enough internet because I couldn't have it conk out. I couldn't say the internet's broken. They'd be like, what? It doesn't happen in Canada like it happens in so much of the world. So yeah, so then I just started to see like I could automate the street team and I could run that abroad. And to be honest, I didn't make a ton of money. This wasn't like, I basically just quit. I just got to this point where like I couldn't stomach it anymore. I couldn't have meetings where people were stressed out about like promoting the new Justin Timberlake album to the gay community in Vancouver, Canada. Like, I just thought, what am I getting up in the middle of the night to take a call on this for? And everyone's stressed out and like kind of angry with each other. Like, why am I doing this? This doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the world, So I just automated the street team online and I left. And that's how I work now. I've been doing this now for over 10 years online. The street team's been existing over 15 years. I've got great returning clients. I'm lucky because I live in Mexico. I don't have to do what Canadians have to do, which is like they're always upselling. There's a lot of pressure to make more money because it's so expensive and people can't afford to live meaningful lives without like being greedy, without like trying to take every cent they can get from anyone, without being like cutthroat. And I don't have to do that here, which is great. I can have a client come to me with an enormous budget and then tell me what they want, and I can say, well, you don't need that much money. We can do that for half. Like, what? That's crazy, And then retain them forever because they know I'm going to be honest. And when I can't do the job, I also have, it's a very small industry. There's literally like 5 people that do what I do nationally, like 5 companies, and we're all a bit different. We all do something a little different. And so when someone comes to me with an ask for something that I don't really do, I'm happy to just like share it to the next person. And we kind of all do that with each other. We kind of work together. It's just like, it's really nice. And I make my neat little, I make like 40 grand Canadian a year, which is like 33 American. Like it's, and I run my family on that. I bought this house with a loan, and that's my thing. So when people come to me and say they really want to work online. How did I get started? I'm like, oh my God, there's a whole career I had that I built working. Sorry, somebody called me and I didn't know that that would interrupt this. Anyway, working like 80-hour work weeks, you know, I built this whole career and then I automated it online and I didn't know anything about it. I just did it. Something in me just told me to do it. I just saw a way out. You know, I'm the type of person, I'm really solution oriented. I just was looking for a solution. I wasn't attached to what the solution was. I was like, I want to travel. I don't want to be in this crazy industry anymore. It's fucking killing me. And I need to make money. And I have this company that I just put my whole life into for 10 years. So like, what do I do? And it's like, that was the opening I saw and I took it. There are tons of job boards online. There are lots of sort of traditional things you can do online, like teach English, which is about $20 an hour. It is not going to make you enough money to live anywhere in the world, but it would be a good second income if you did have a partner who made your main money or you had another way to make main money. So the more that people have asked me this, the more I've actually looked into it and found like, what are some of the ways that people could make money, especially single moms with kids. One, because we're already hustlers. Like a single mom is such a hustler. Most of us have more than one job. Most of us have a side hustle, and most of us are working online. So in some capacity, because how else are you going to be the only caregiver to a child, you know? We don't have the luxury of choosing the way men do. So, you know, single moms is always what I'm thinking of because I just think that we're already such hustlers that we're like a perfect fit for a lot of things. So I have done some great research. I'm going to be interviewing Marina the Trader Chick on day trading for women specifically. Men are also invited, but it's a really good way to start a side hustle that could maybe be your main hustle if you play your cards right, kind of thing. I've also reached out to some a mommy blogger, Trippin' Mama, who's going to do an interview with me this month about her blog and her experience working online, traveling with kids. She has 3 children and she gets no help. So she's a great example of a real hustler. She's also very positive and wonderful to talk to and has great networks if you are a single mom and you want to travel. So she's a fantastic example of an entrepreneur. And then I'm also waiting on confirming one, but I've got an interview option in the can with a recruiter for online, someone that helps place people with online work. So based on their skills. And then also I'll do probably a video a little bit about my own journey of working online, what to expect, the pitfalls, traveling and working online, kind of the goods and the bads of that. So that's going to be all on the Patreon, which is patreon.com/travelmamaannavon, and the link is below. That's going to be on the Patreon this month. The whole month of March is dedicated to like immigration, working online. Oh, and I'm also doing a video on my own sort of immigration to Mexico story, and everything is like filled with links. There'll be lots of links, lots of people, recommendations, people you can get a hold of, that kind of thing. And see if that works for you. So that's number 1. Number 2 is I really want to name this thing. And people have written in a bunch of good names, but I thought that maybe today we could, in the comments below, talk about, everybody give suggestions, and then I'm gonna, I'll put up like a poll on Patreon asking people which ones they like the best, and I want to name it and make intro for it this week. So Naked Mama is still my favorite one, but some other people, someone said Get Real with Anna Vaughn was good, and I kind of liked that one. There's also a couple of others I can't remember, but I have them written down. So feel free, if you're interested, in leaving a comment below. I think there's something wrong with the live because normally, I'm 20 minutes in, normally it's packed with people at this time, but nobody's here, and I think it's because the internet is rubbish. Welcome to Mexico. It's like on and off all the time. So I'm going to actually sign off at the 20-minute mark today, but please, if you have suggestions about naming the podcast, please keep them below. I'm going to do a poll in the next week, and I would really love all of your feedback. Thanks so much for watching, and have a really good day. Adios, baby.